Inflammation is quietly driving joint pain, fatigue, heart disease, and autoimmune flares. And what you eat every single day is either making it better or worse. I'm Dr. Alvarez, a rheumatologist. In this video, I'm ranking the 10 foods that science actually backs for reducing inflammation, from least to most powerful. Number 1 might surprise you. Stay with me until the end. I'll also cover what to limit, what the evidence really shows, and what most people get completely wrong about anti-inflammatory eating. Let's begin. Number 10, green tea. Green tea contains natural plant compounds called catechins. The best known is called EGCG. In 2025, a systematic review analyzing multiple randomized controlled trials found that green tea improved antioxidant status in adults, but it did not consistently lower commonly measured inflammatory markers such as C-reactive protein or interleukin-6. So why include green tea? Because it can be a practical replacement for soda, sweet tea, energy drinks, and other sugar-sweetened beverages. Think about a patient we will call Maria. Maria did not completely change her diet overnight. She simply replaced her afternoon soda with unsweetened green tea several days each week. That one decision did not cure her arthritis, but it reduced her intake of added sugar and became the first manageable step toward a healthier eating pattern. That is often how lasting change begins. Choose brewed green tea without large amounts of added sugar. And remember, concentrated green tea extracts are not the same as a cup of tea. Supplements can deliver much higher doses and may have different safety concerns. Number 9, tomatoes. Tomatoes provide vitamin C, potassium, and a red antioxidant pigment called lycopene. A 2022 systematic review found that tomato consumption did not consistently reduce C-reactive protein or interleukin-6. A reduction in tumor necrosis factor alpha was reported in some studies, but the overall evidence remained inconsistent. That means tomatoes are nutritious, but we should not oversell them as a treatment for inflammation. Tomatoes are still useful because they are a major part of Mediterranean-style meals. You can use them in salads, soups, beans, sauces, and vegetable dishes. Cooking tomatoes with a small amount of olive oil may also improve the body's absorption of lycopene. You may also have heard that tomatoes cause arthritis pain because they belong to the nightshade family. At present, there is no convincing clinical evidence that everyone with arthritis should avoid tomatoes. Individual food sensitivities can occur, but tomatoes should not automatically be removed from the diet without a clear reason. Number 8, turmeric. Turmeric is the yellow spice commonly used in curry. Its most studied component is curcumin. 3 separate research analyses published in 2021, 2023, and most recently in 2026 all found improvements in pain, morning stiffness, and inflammatory markers in rheumatoid arthritis patients using curcumin supplementation. Here is the important part. None of these trials used a small amount of turmeric sprinkled into dinner. They used concentrated curcumin preparations, often in specialized formulations designed to improve absorption. Those are not the same thing. Consider a patient we will call David. David began adding turmeric to roasted vegetables, soups, and beans. He enjoyed the flavor, and it helped him eat more home-cooked meals. But he did not stop his rheumatoid arthritis medication, and he did not assume the spice was controlling his disease. That is a sensible way to use turmeric. Turmeric can be part of healthy cooking, but do not promise yourself medication-level effects from a culinary dose. Speak with a qualified healthcare professional before taking high-dose curcumin supplements, particularly if you use anticoagulants, antiplatelet drugs, or several prescription medications. Number 7, whole grains. Whole grains include oats, barley, brown rice, quinoa, and farro. Unlike refined grains, whole grains retain the bran and germ, meaning more fiber, magnesium, vitamins, and protective plant compounds. A 2022 systematic review found that some trials reported improvements in at least one inflammatory marker, but the effect was not consistent across all studies. That may sound disappointing, but context matters. The benefit often comes from what the whole grain replaces. Replacing a sugary cereal with oatmeal is helpful. Replacing white bread with a higher fiber whole grain bread may be helpful. Adding a whole grain snack to an already excessive diet may not produce the same result. Look for oats, barley, quinoa, brown rice, or a whole grain listed as the first ingredient. Do not assume that every product labeled multigrain is truly high in whole grains. Number 6. Beans and lentils. Beans, lentils, chickpeas, and split peas provide fiber, plant protein, potassium, and magnesium. They are also affordable and widely available. A 2015 meta-analysis of randomized trials found that eating non-soy legumes showed a trend toward lowering C-reactive protein, a modest but meaningful result. Their fiber supports the gut microbiome. They help people feel full, and they can replace processed meats or heavily refined carbohydrates. Imagine that Maria, our earlier patient, begins using black beans in tacos once a week and lentils in soup once a week. She has not started a restrictive diet. She has simply added 2 inexpensive, high-fiber meals to her routine. That is realistic and sustainable. Rinse canned beans to reduce sodium. Increase fiber gradually if you are not accustomed to eating beans, since a sudden increase can cause gas or bloating. Number 5. Berries. Blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, and blackberries contain colorful plant compounds called anthocyanins, which may help protect cells from oxidative stress and influence inflammatory pathways. A 2024 systematic review and a 2023 meta-analysis both found improvements in inflammatory and oxidative stress measurements with regular berry consumption. However, results vary depending on the type of berry, the amount consumed, the health of the participants, and the length of the study. So berries belong on the list, but they are not magic. They are most useful when they replace desserts, candy, or other highly refined foods. Fresh and frozen berries are both reasonable choices. Frozen berries are often less expensive and can be added to oatmeal, plain yogurt, or smoothies without added sugar. Number 4. Nuts. Walnuts, almonds, pistachios, hazelnuts, and peanuts provide unsaturated fats, fiber, magnesium, vitamin E, and polyphenols. A review of controlled feeding studies found that nut consumption can improve selected markers of inflammation and oxidative stress, though findings differ across nut varieties and patient populations. And then there is this. In 2018, one of the largest randomized nutrition trials ever conducted found that a Mediterranean diet supplemented with mixed nuts was associated with significantly fewer major cardiovascular events compared to the control diet. That does not prove that nuts directly treat autoimmune arthritis. It does show that they can be part of an eating pattern with important long-term health benefits. A small handful is generally sufficient. Choose plain, dry roasted, or lightly salted nuts rather than nuts covered in sugar, candy coatings, or large amounts of salt. Number 3. Extra virgin olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil is a central component of Mediterranean-style eating. It contains monounsaturated fat and a range of natural plant compounds called polyphenols. A 2024 systematic review found improvements in inflammatory biomarkers with extra virgin olive oil consumption. A 2025 follow-up analysis confirmed that Mediterranean diets supplemented with olive oil improved certain inflammatory and vascular markers, though effects varied across studies. Olive oil is especially valuable when it replaces butter, shortening, or other fats high in saturated fat. Simply pouring olive oil over an otherwise unhealthy diet will not cancel out the rest of the diet. You may have heard that olive oil contains a compound called oleocanthal that acts like ibuprofen. Oleocanthal does affect certain inflammatory pathways in laboratory research, but a serving of olive oil should not be described as the medical equivalent of an anti-inflammatory drug. Use extra virgin olive oil in salad dressings, vegetable dishes, beans, or cooking in place of butter when appropriate. Number 2. Fatty fish. Fatty fish include salmon, sardines, mackerel, herring, and trout. These fish provide EPA and DHA, 2 long-chain omega-3 fatty acids that have been examined in many clinical trials. Of all the individual foods on this list, fatty fish has some of the strongest supporting evidence. Multiple meta-analyses spanning from 2012 all the way to 2024 consistently found that omega-3 supplementation modestly reduces inflammatory biomarkers. In rheumatoid arthritis patients specifically, Research found improvements in disease activity, pain scores, and in some cases, a reduced need for anti-inflammatory medication. But there are important limitations. Many studies use concentrated fish oil supplements rather than servings of fish, and benefits were generally modest. They did not occur in every participant. Let's consider a composite patient named Robert. Robert has rheumatoid arthritis and an increased risk of heart disease. He begins eating baked salmon once a week and sardines or trout during another meal. His medication continues to control his rheumatoid arthritis. The fish is not replacing treatment. It is supporting a dietary pattern that may benefit both inflammation and cardiovascular health. That is the realistic goal. Try to include fatty fish about twice per week when medically and culturally appropriate. Preparation matters. Baked, grilled, or broiled fish is different from heavily breaded, deep-fried fish. Number 1. Leafy green and cruciferous vegetables. Leafy greens include spinach, kale, collard greens, and Swiss chard. Cruciferous vegetables include broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and bok choy. A 2018 review found that higher fruit and vegetable intake was associated with possible reductions in inflammatory markers, and a 2014 randomized controlled trial that specifically examined cruciferous vegetable intake found measurable improvements in systemic inflammation. But trials examining specific vegetables have not shown that one particular green vegetable reliably lowers inflammation on its own. So why place vegetables at number 1? Because they form the foundation of the dietary pattern supported by the strongest overall evidence. Vegetables help provide volume, fiber, nutrients, and variety without relying heavily on ultra-processed ingredients. There is no requirement to eat kale every day. The best vegetable is often the one you enjoy enough to eat regularly. Use a variety of colors and preparations: fresh, frozen, roasted, steamed, or added to soups. All of these work. Now that we have covered what to add, let's talk about what to reduce. Because the anti-inflammatory pattern works both ways. Inflammation is part of your immune system's natural defense system. When you cut your finger or develop an infection, inflammation helps protect your body and begin the healing process. That is called acute inflammation. It is usually temporary and helpful. Chronic inflammation is different. In autoimmune diseases such as rheumatoid arthritis, psoriatic arthritis, and lupus, the immune system may remain active when it should not. That continued activity can damage joints, skin, blood vessels, and other organs. Medications remain the most effective tools for controlling autoimmune inflammation and preventing permanent damage. Food is not a replacement for those medications. However, dietary choices may influence inflammatory signaling, cardiovascular risk, body weight, blood sugar, and the gut microbiome, and those effects can still be meaningful. The first category is highly processed foods, packaged snacks, fast food, and ready-made meals loaded with refined oils, additives, and preservatives. These are consistently linked to higher inflammatory markers. Second, sugary drinks, sodas, sweetened teas, energy drinks, and fruit juices with added sugar. These can spike blood sugar and contribute to chronic low-grade inflammation. Third, refined carbohydrates, white bread, white rice, pastries, and sugary cereals. These are quickly digested and may promote inflammatory responses over time. Fourth, excess red and processed meats, sausages, hot dogs, bacon, and more than 2 or 3 servings of red meat per week have been associated with higher inflammatory markers in population studies. And fifth, trans fats, still found in some packaged baked goods and fried foods. These are among the most consistently pro-inflammatory dietary components identified in research. You do not need to eliminate any of these completely, but consistently reducing them while increasing the 10 foods on this list is where the real benefit comes from. Now that we have reviewed all 10 foods, here is the most important scientific conclusion. The evidence is stronger for the overall eating pattern than for any single food. A 2025 review concluded that Mediterranean dietary patterns consistently reduce inflammatory markers in adults. And a recent systematic review found that the Mediterranean diet shows protective anti-inflammatory effects that may be particularly relevant for people living with autoimmune diseases. A Mediterranean-style diet generally includes vegetables and fruits, beans and lentils, whole grains, nuts and seeds, extra virgin olive oil, fish, smaller amounts of red and processed meats, and fewer sugar-sweetened drinks and ultra-processed foods. These foods do not behave like 10 separate medications. They work together as part of a consistent pattern. That is why the goal should not be to add 1 spoonful of turmeric or drink 1 cup of green tea while leaving everything else unchanged. The goal is to improve the overall pattern 1 decision at a time. Can these foods replace medication? No. For people with rheumatoid arthritis, psoriatic arthritis, lupus, or another autoimmune disease, diet should complement medical treatment, not replace it. Untreated inflammation may cause irreversible joint or organ damage even when a person is eating very well. Food can support health. Medication controls disease. Some patients may eventually need medication changes, but those decisions should be based on symptoms, examinations, laboratory findings, imaging, and a shared discussion with a treating healthcare professional. You do not need to change everything this week. Choose 1 or 2 steps. You might replace 1 sugary drink with unsweetened tea or water. You might eat beans instead of processed meat during 1 meal. You might add berries to oatmeal. You might use olive oil in place of butter. Or you might prepare fatty fish once this week. Small changes that continue for years are usually more valuable than an extreme diet that lasts 10 days. Here's what I hope you remember. No single food cures inflammation. Each of the 10 foods on this list may contribute something useful, but the strongest evidence from 21 peer-reviewed studies supports the way they work together as a consistent long-term dietary pattern. Do not chase miracle foods. Build repeatable habits. Aim for progress, not perfection. And never stop an important medication because of something you heard in a nutrition video. At RheumCare, that is a standard we hold ourselves to, giving you the science, not the hype. All 21 scientific references used in this video are linked in the description below. If you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who deserves honest information about their health. And if you want to know which foods are quietly making inflammation worse, that is exactly what we are covering next. Subscribe and hit the bell so you do not miss it. Stay curious, keep asking questions, and remember, at RheumCare, our mission has always been the same. Care that keeps you moving. Thank you for watching, and I see you in the next video.